Welcome back to another episode of the Sports Card Dad.
Could you imagine how you would have felt if you'd woke up Christmas morning and you had a box this big?
Ty Wilson is back from Chasing Cardboard to talk all things cards and travels, and we've actually going to talk about some hobby topics too. Panini up for sale. Ty, how you doing, man? How's life?
I'm doing good. How are you, Dustin?
I'm doing good. Yeah, it's Halloween today at time of recording, and I just can't believe it. Feels like 2025 just blew by. You know, it's already over practically. It's nuts.
So true. I was talking to Johnny. Johnny works for me here, and we were just saying that yesterday. Like, what happened to the year? Like, we were just starting this year. What's going on?
So speaking of this year, I was going to ask you, just kind of reflecting on, we still have a couple months left, but how has everything been going? Chasing Cardboard has been cooking. I've been paying attention to the views and watching them when I can. How have, I guess, expectations? I think every business probably looks at like January 1st, you have these expectations for the year, and then you get through the year and either some things went right, some things didn't. How are you feeling just so far in 2025 as we round it out, whether it's reselling or, YouTube, all that stuff?
Yeah, it's been a great year, right? I mean, for Chasing Cardboard, we were talking offline, like we finally hit our stride. I think it takes the reps, right? It just takes reps in this game. And we've put out so many episodes now where we kind of figure out, okay, title structure, thumbnail structure. What do people want to see in the first 2 minutes? All those things have helped. And we've had some episodes go crazy, and we're finally profitable on the Chasing Cardboard side. But we also figured, I might've mentioned this to you last time, like we've been doing a release every week, 4 weeks at a time. And then we take a couple week break. We're doing it in batches, which has really helped us think about things differently, little mini seasons. It's forced us to get on the road a little bit more than we wanted to, but it's good, man. We're hitting stride. Reselling's reselling, right? We can talk about that if you want, but
I've missed the last couple of episodes, but I thought that I noticed that they were coming more frequently. Are you guys doing like a part 1, part 2? Like, because I would think like for your episodes, that might actually, like if you left a part 1, not that I need to teach you anything, but I was thinking like a cliffhanger, like if you have a 30-40 minute episode, but you chop it, you make 2 20-minute episodes, but you have a kind of a cliffhanger going into a part 2. Have you guys tried that before? Maybe you have.
We have. We tried it early on twice, and we were probably too early in the game to really figure it out. But you're probably right, and you always welcome to give me advice and suggestions because
I was just thinking as you were saying, I was like, man, I feel like they've done that, but why not throw it out there? Yeah, I don't know, because they are really interesting episodes, and you guys have the opportunity because there usually is like a plot twist in the story somewhere where like you're going in and then there's like it changes. So yeah. Cool.
Well, you didn't see the last one. We had a guy who, for years, like 1994 to 2002, was like, he wanted to go take care of these kids in these homes. And so he thought, I'm going to go give them baseball cards. And he was buying boxes of cards for years. And the card shop owner he was buying them from was like, hey, we can't give him like the autographs and relics. They're going to all fight over them. So let's take those out and give him all the other cards in the packs. He wasn't a collector, this guy. So he was like literally keeping these stored relics and autos in a storage locker for 25 years.
Oh, wow.
And called us out there to go because he's like, I got to get rid of these things. It's a really neat story. This guy had a really kind heart. But the people you meet that we've met now, like, there's another piece of the hobby I never knew existed. There's another new story. It's just awesome.
Yeah, I think that it shows you how vast everything is. I have my little social media bubble here where I watch like certain shows, and and you think that that's all that there is, but man, it does seem like, and that's one thing that's great about your channel there at Chasing Cardboard is you get a lot of different views, like from a lot of different angles, people all over the country that, are doing stuff way differently than maybe you or I are. That's cool.
Very true. Very true.
All right. So we have huge news that just came down the pike here over the last day or so. And it is essentially the owner / majority shareholder, CEO / majority shareholder in Italy passed away in April of Panini. And so I didn't hear about this until yesterday.
How funny is that? Like that should have been news back in April.
And what's funny is it was on Panini's website. It was there. It's just, I wasn't scouring the internet trying to find it, I guess. And I missed it. But now a few months later, it looks like Panini is up for sale. And I felt like they've always been up for sale, but now it's definitely accelerating, because clearly, I mean, Topps Fanatics, they've been in talks before. We know that there's a lawsuit going on, a couple different ones. And I wanted to get your view on this because it does look like, based on Sports Collectors Daily put out a great article on this, but it looks like mid 2026 is when they're going to release like larger financial numbers, and it's going to get real serious in mid 2026. And it looks like it's imminent that there will be a sale.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of who it goes to. Topps is in the mix, obviously. I think that is probably like the least shocking part of the story.
Yeah.
But as from a collector standpoint, is this, I guess, what are your thoughts whether Topps Fanatics buys Panini or it's PE or some other company buys Panini? What's your take on it?
Well, selfishly, I'm like, man, that'd be cool to have like Topps Prism, a Topps Kaboom. Like all those things would be super cool. Like who knows if they would keep, I would assume they would keep that stuff. I'm just not a fan of monopolies at the end of the day. Like, I just don't like the idea of like Topps having everything. It's like, it feels like then we kind of just as collectors, we're kind of like, well, hope they do it right. I hope someone like Upper Deck comes in and goes, you know what? We're going to play the long game here. We have an established brand. Let's integrate Panini, and maybe we can revive and keep some of these old names in the hobby and brands, or go private. But that's my gut. I'm kind of reacting to it just like you, though. What do you think?
Yeah, you actually raised a good point. Will they take Kaboom and Prism and make it like a Topps Prism, or would they keep it Panini? Because like if I bought Panini, I wouldn't shut down Panini. I would keep, because people know Panini. It's a respected brand, long time. But it would seem like you would probably be releasing the same stuff. Like it would be no different. Like it'd just be like Panini Prism comes out, except Michael Rubin takes that cash. Michael Rubin's running that show. He owns it as part of like the overall portfolio. I would rather them do that than do the whole like Topps, like Topps Flawless or whatever the hell. I think that'd be really weird.
Yeah.
Like a hybrid of these cards, I think would be strange. And I think it would be super confusing for collectors too. Think if you're a new person coming in and you've got like Topps Chrome and you've got Prism, and then, but now, no, it's Topps Kaboom, not Panini Kaboom. It'd just be really weird.
Totally. So, it'd be a great business decision too, right? I mean, Rubin could interject a bunch of life into Panini and some of those brands for the next 5 years. And who knows how he wants to move those pieces around 5 years from now after he builds up the value of those. I mean, that seems like a no-brainer play for their brand.
So if you're a baseball card collector, because I know that you're a baseball guy, if Prism is licensed, because that to me, it's like, then which ones are the best cards? What's the best rookie card? Is it Prism baseball, or is it Topps Chrome baseball, or Bowman, or whatever? I mean, that's going to be a whole argument. That's going to be a huge argument if it ends up going that way.
I mean, that's a really good point. I mean, because consumers only have so many dollars to spend, right? So that would be a tough decision, and they'd be weighing all of that, right? Do we water down the Topps Chrome brand if we keep Prism over here? How does that play when they're both licensed? Be great for collectors, maybe not so great for fanatics.
Yeah, that's what I actually just put a video out at time of recording, like an hour before this, but I think it's great for collectors, especially on the single side, because here's the problem that I see is I don't see product getting any less expensive. So I think product is still expensive, whether you're buying Panini Prism that's now licensed, let's say Fanatics buys it, or it's Topps Chrome. It's not as if because they're making more product, like, it's just going to make everything cheaper. Yeah. But I think what will be awesome is the singles market will be diluted, is like very diluted. So if you are a singles buyer, it's going to be great, because then you can go, and if you want to get Prism, whatever, of your favorite player, or Topps Chrome, it's available to you. Sorry, my dog is barking. So for collectors, it's great. Now, if you're a speculator, investor, you're trying to actually put serious money into this stuff. Which one are you buying? You buying Diamond Icons? Are you buying, Flawless? Like, I wouldn't even bother with it. I can't imagine trying to decide between those.
Yeah, they would have some really tough decisions to make on what brands to cut out.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All right. So we've talked about Topps Panini, the reselling business. It's holiday season, and so catch me up here, because obviously you're reselling sports cards. Yep. If I remember correctly, you're not reselling other things right now. It's mainly just like because you have two channels. You have a separate channel for like that's reselling. Is that right?
Yeah.
Like eBay, and just kind of talking about the reselling stuff. Are you doing stuff outside of cards and collectibles now as well? And then I guess if not, then how is the reselling business going this time of year?
Yeah. So Chasing Ty Wilson's my personal channel. We talk about all the reselling stuff. No, it's always been sports cards and collectibles. Probably always will be. That's my passion. So yeah, that's the full-time gig. Johnny works for me. My family's involved in that business. We'll move through a couple $1 million in, cards this year, which is it's going to be our best year. But yeah, we mentioned this. We hinted towards this last conversation. This is the window, right? For resellers. Like, these are usually the best couple months coming up, the best 6 weeks period. So we're ramping up and getting stuff ready, and everybody likes to load those stockings and presents up for kids and husbands and all that stuff. So it's fun. Busy.
So what's interesting is because you mentioned that this is a good time of year, obviously for holiday shopping and people are buying from you. But I know when we look at historically, like Q4 for buying cards, it's usually like prices are down some. You know, if you look or flat.
Yep.
You know, so is it maybe that like the high, like more of like the you know, the more expensive cards maybe are more flat during this time, and maybe people are buying just more affordable stuff? Because from what you're saying, like sales are great, you know, during this time. So it's not, prices aren't really down for you. You're selling, like sales volume is not down, but maybe like the big high dollar cards don't sell as much right now, or, you know, Q4.
Yeah, we typically see volume pick up and maybe ASP, you know, average sales price will drop a little bit. So you're exactly right. And that's probably it, right? It's just people are trying to weigh financial decisions over the holidays, and so they're just being more selective. But you see that the low mid category really start to move, which is good because January, February is when we see like some of the bigger cards really get a lot of traction. So, but it's so funny, right? We're just in a weird moment in the hobby where prices are just so high on everything.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a couple of big cards up on the eBay store right now. I'm like, how are these going for $10,000 now? Right? Like, who is paying these prices? It's great, but some of these I'm scratching my head going, this is not sustainable. Like the price increases on some of these cards is not sustainable. But
now, is it vintage stuff or is it modern?
No.
The high
Couple
dollar
kabooms, couple soccer kabooms, a couple, you know, really great autos. Like, again, not complaining. I'm super excited about the high end market moving like that. But you see this delta. Definitely during the holidays, you see the delta, upper 1%, the bottom 99%.
Yeah. Do you guys run into sealed product too for sports cards? And like, because I always think about stuff you just mentioned, like what's affordable, and like one thing that I think would be like fun under like in my stocking is like 89 Pro Set football box. It's like $40, you know, or something that you can get that's fairly still available. But do you run into that when you're buying collections where it's like, yeah, it's junk wax, but it's like sealed packs that I can resell? Like they're still resellable because maybe you can. Maybe, you know, they've got a bunch of it and they just need it out of their place or whatever. Do you ever buy sealed stuff as well as part of collections?
We try to stay away from it. It's just a different game, not our game. I have come across collections on episodes of Chasing Cardboard. People have seen it's like vintage wax and stuff. But as you maybe know from buying on eBay too, right? But selling as well, you're just a lot of opportunities for scams and buyers saying, oh, this came opened. Oh, look, here's a slash in the box. And all the packs are open and the cards are gone. Just like you get resale stuff at Target, you get it on eBay too. So it's just not worth it for me. But I get what you're saying. And I might be able to hook you up with an 89 Pro set.
Yeah, that's code for like, hey, if you ever run into any 89 Pro set.
Yeah.
Me and my buddies opened a box at the National going back a couple of years, and we're searching for like, you know, the Barry Sanders and the Troy Aikman, you know, rookies and stuff. And yeah, they're not high dollar cards, but it's just fun. You know, it's like, and it's not $1 zillion, you know, to open those, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. Are you a live, are you a live buyer? Do you go to like Whatnot or eBay Live and buy?
I have not. No,
Okay.
I've contemplated. So I'm working with Rick Probstein on Snipe. He's opening up Snipe here in about 4 days, but that might be the time where I do try live selling. Cause I think that it's like, it sounds like fun, and it's not something that I've ever, now granted, it's probably not fun all the time. And I'm sure I'll probably get smoked, you know, a couple times as I learn how to do it, but I'm like, I already do live streams quite a bit. I already, you know, do episodes like this to where I'm not uncomfortable, obviously, around on the camera, but you know, I've never dove into it. I think what I'd like to do is kind of see like what's my angle, what sorts of cards do I want to sell, and maybe it'll be like junk wax slabs or something, and that'll be like my show. But yeah, I think I'm going to give it a shot. You guys do that, don't you? You do some live selling stuff.
We do. We'll probably end up moving about $250,000 through Whatnot this year, just on singles, from just the normal stuff, right? It's not even really high dollar stuff, and it's not even, it's going for comps. It's just the volume you can move on live. And I think people, especially for you, Dustin, like people love sitting in your community and talking. It's just a fun environment to be able to facilitate. Let's talk about this episode. Oh, look at these cards from this collection. Let me share a couple moments. Like, it's right in your wheelhouse. I think you'd kill it. But and I think it's just, I thought through 2 or 3 years ago, there's no way this stands the test of time, but I see its place in the hobby now, and I'm a big fan of just live selling and community building.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try it. I noticed what we did some dumb, me and my buddies did a live stream where Flippin' Steve, my buddy, had a Jim Everett autograph card, and it was a joke. And we were like, hey, as part of our national giveaway, we'll put the money towards it, and we did kind of like a live, auction thing where it's like, all right, put your bids in the chat. And it went for like $40, and it's like it's probably a $10 card. And I'm like thinking, but granted, there was like a charitable aspect to it. It went to like, as a giveaway. But I was like, man, that's how quickly I guess it happens. Like on these live selling, platforms, it must not that everyone's paying 4 times comp, but I was like, damn, there's actually some opportunity just to sell. There's people that are there to just buy quickly. And I'm sure for you, it's convenient. It's not just sitting on eBay. You're not waiting. Like you can just kind of do your thing and move it and you're done.
Totally. I'd rather move 100 $2 cards than put 10 of them up there and sell them for $5 each, right? Like forget that. Let's just let these guys, a lot of guys will buy from me to go resell on their own and they'll make their 30 or 40%, which I am totally fine with just for the sake of moving a lot of inventory. So
yeah, not to promo Snipe again too much, but so the one, I think we lost your camera, Ty, but that's okay. I can hear you. Oh, okay. There we go. All right. But okay. So here's another reason why I'm going to try it on Snipe.
Yeah.
He handles fulfillment. So like basically I can go sell 100 slabs on the live stream, and then I send one package with 100 slabs to Rick, and then he handles all the rest of it. So that's another look. I don't want to go to the post office 20 times a week either. So that was the other part where I'm like, you know what? If you're going to handle fulfillment, then maybe I'll try it here. Again, that's not a try Snipe if you want. Don't try it, but that's part of the reason why I'm going to try it there.
Interesting. I've been hearing the rumblings of Snipe. I can't believe it's only 4 days away now. I'm really interested to see how this plays out in the hobby.
Well, I think that the next level for both of us will be this is how I'm transitioning into repacks. The next thing is repacks. The funny part is like everybody was, a couple of years ago, it's all about breaking new product and the flawless briefcase breaks and this and that. Now, like, forget about it. I don't see anything about breakers online. All I see now are breakers literally opening up repack products. All these breakers have their own repack product that they're doing, which is incredible to me. What's your take on this? Because you have been, in the hobby long enough where, you had breaker culture going back, you're doing ratings and breakers and all that sort of stuff. So you've seen kind of the evolution of this thing.
Yeah. And
now we've gone to like repacks to the max. What's your take, and when does your repack launch?
We won't be launching a repack. That's definitely not us. Look, I think I'm probably not as far to the left, as like, this is the worst thing for the hobby. I'm not on that side of the camp because I think there are some good repacks. And like the principles of it all make sense. I think what it's telling us is that we're just in that weird kind of like the cycle of the hobby where we just have so much stuff out there. And these vendors and breakers and resellers are realizing they can't get rid of it all. And repacks are, generally speaking, their way of getting rid of it all, right? Like there's a couple big hits and the rest of it's stuff that people don't want. It's PSA 8 Trae Young rated rookie. Like no one wants that. So I think that's the unfortunate situation that we're in. We just have a lot of stuff out there that people don't want. And it's just regurgitating it through different repackaged items. So I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. Short answer.
Yeah. Do you think, because a lot of people will say like, oh, well, it's because new product, it's overpriced and there's no hits in there and it's diluted and watered down. So it's pushed people over to repacks. But you could also make the argument that a lot of repacks are, you're throwing money away on repacks as well. So it's kind of, but I guess people are happy with the 40 to 50% of their money back on a repack on average, let's say, versus maybe it's 10% back or 20% back on a box of cards, a box of new cards. I don't know, but it does seem like people want to open a pack of some sort. It's just, they can't, figure out what that's going to be.
I think you're exactly right. That's the culture we're in right now. Like it's a very gambling oriented kind of mindset, and repacks just kind of scratch that itch a different way. Yep.
It's a wild time. I've been watching a lot of documentaries on sports betting and gambling. Well, and we have the whole thing in the NBA going off about, the rigged poker games and the rigged game. The thing that has really made all that go nuts is the prop bets on very specific things, like XYZ player is going to play all 4 quarters, bet on that. And that's when a player can go like, wait, what's the prop bet? Me playing all 4 quarters? Well, I'll sit out the 4th quarter and just put all your money on whatever, put all your money on that. That's how I think that they get their buddies, they kind of like, run these little games in game is because, or they're just, I should say that not, I don't know how many NBA players or NFL players are doing it, but think about the draw or the, all their buddies back home are like, hey man, just, go out with an injury or whatever. Like if you were just betting on the wins and the losses of the games, and none of this would be happening, because one player probably, unless it's like the quarterback who's not going to, risk not going to risk it. But if it's a little prop bet, then I think that's where players start messing around with it. And I'm curious, how deep do you think that goes? Or do you think this is like the stuff that, the scandal that's going on now? Do you think that's just kind of a one-off thing?
I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories, right? I mean, what did Chauncey wear? The clutch stuff. And it's like, okay, that's infiltrating into the LeBron world.
Right.
I surely hope it doesn't go super deep. I mean, the NBA is already hurting in so many different ways, right? They cannot seem to connect with this new brand of audience. And then, especially in the card world, right? Like outside of the top 5 GOATs, like prices have just been terrible for NBA cards. So I hope it doesn't go super deep, but I think you and I both know there's a lot there that we'll probably never know that's happening right now. You can listen to some of the podcasts out there with some of these old NBAers, and Jason Williams was on one the other day and he just kind of laughed and white talk. It's like, guys, there's a lot going on here. We don't want to get into this because we're going to get excommunicated from this world if we start talking about the stuff that's really happening.
Yeah, I know. And that's what makes me wonder, because I same, like, and I'm trying to figure out like how many of these ex players are just talking trash or trying to be cool, and, and how many of them are really know like some crazy stuff that's gone down. I don't know. I guess we might never know, but we also might know, depending on, what the FBI is working on. We might actually learn more about this soon.
For true. For true. Okay. For real. For true. That's why vintage cards always get people's attention, right? Mickey Mantle's not going to get caught up in a prop bet tomorrow.
Although I wasn't going to talk about this, but with the last kind of thought here, vintage cards. So someone spent $7 million on a Babe Ruth card and then sold it for $4 million a couple years later. So just be careful out there. Even the Babe, even if you overpay on the GOATs, you can get hurt on the GOATs. I just thought that was kind of interesting, but I heard some speculation about maybe some tax harvesting or something. Cause it's like, why would you sell that card? And maybe it's simply like they had huge gains somewhere else. And they were like, you know what, we need to like even this out a little bit. Who knows?
Yeah, that was interesting, right? That was the 1914, like Baltimore News, something like.
Yep.
They argue if it's his true rookie, right? So maybe the viewpoint on that changed, but then it was sold between 2 auction houses. I don't know which one it ended up at. Was it at Heritage or REA, one of the two?
I think, REA sold it the first time and then Heritage sold it the second time. Yeah.
If I'm REA, I'm using that as marketing material, right? Like from now on going forward, like here's the comparison between the two.
That's right.
But yeah, that was quite interesting with cards like Kobe and Jordan dual logo mans, and then you see over here and Mantle's going up straight up in price, but yep, Babe Ruth drops $3 million. My gosh.
Yeah, well, and that just shows you too. It's kind of like the Wonder Shine Index, where they're buying up all these cards. And it's like they might want to pay $10 million for that Jordan card, but like, does anybody else want to pay $10 million? Because if nobody else wants to pay $10 million, then that will be another one of these Babe Ruth comps. At some point. I think that they're going to hold it long enough to where they're probably okay. But if you pay that much and then you're looking to sell 2 years later, then you could be hurting. So
that Wonder Sign stuff's crazy, right? You go to that site and it shows their holdings, right? And it's all basketball right now. And it'll show like price paid and what the market value is now. It's like, where'd that come from? Like you just made up a market value on the only one in the world. Like, what is that?
Yeah,
we're up 20% now because of this arbitrary market value. There's some funky things there that I'm really curious to see how.
I think it's going to get. I really hope they don't fractionalize it all out. Do the whole fractional share thing, because nobody's going to make any money on those cards. At least not. I don't know. It's like one of those things. If the $10 million card in 20 years is worth $50 million, then okay, I guess you made money. But
yeah,
could you have put your money somewhere else and probably done better? Yeah, probably, but I owned one share of, this rare Michael Jordan card. It's like, come on. I really hope they don't do that.
Agreed. It's fun to talk about though.
It is. Yeah. And we'll definitely talk about it. All right, man. Well, that's our 20. We're a little over. This is good. 25 minutes. And we'll be back next month. What's cooking to where, is there anything on the docket for next? So that'll be after Thanksgiving, maybe like 1st of December. Do you have something coming up in November, we can recap it. Or are you taking some time off for family stuff?
I made a bet with Matt that we'd cross 100,000 subscribers on Chasing Cardboard by Christmas. So you're going to have to hold me accountable to that.
Okay. Well, we're going to definitely,
really
we're going to clip this. We're going to clip it and we will check back. We'll check back. Well, yeah, because it's October 31st. So it'll probably be like first week of December timeframe when we talk next. We'll see how how you're doing.
Done. Sounds good. Thanks for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Ty. We'll talk to you later.